This motorcycle literally sucks at everything, making it the perfect bike. Cue the intro. It's slow, it's goofy looking, it's small, it doesn't handle well, only has a top speed of 75, the brakes are poor, mediocre at best. If this is such a horrible bike, why did Yamaha make this thing from 1987 to currently 2019? And we'll continue making it for a long time. Why did they make this bike for 32 years if it was such a poor motorcycle? All right, guys, let's do the words of wisdom. Proverbs 13:1, a wise son accepts his father's discipline, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke. Another awesome thing about a bike like this is you really get to use them for all it's worth. And you get to use them in a completely different way. Like going on the grass at the speed limit is just as awesome as exceeding the speed limit going on the asphalt. But there's something unique and something special about using a motorcycle for 100% of what it can do. You know, when you get up to 60 miles an hour, if you redlined every single gear, power shifted everything, you know what I mean, and went through all 6 gears before you hit that speed, that's pretty cool. You know, like that's fun. And when it comes to like you and, let me put the choke back in. When it comes to like you racing your buddies, you know, you guys can have the most intense races. I'm talking intense, head to head, you know, fighting it out for the battle of number 1 and never actually do anything illegal or exceed the speed limit. You know, in your mind, you're like, oh, you're trying to squeeze out every inch, you're chucking low, and you're, you know, just doing fun stuff that guys do when we're around each other with motorcycles. And then a cop's sitting there watching you, and he's like, just drinking his coffee. He's like, well, they're going 10 miles an hour below the speed limit. So the Yamaha TW200 has been called a lot of things. You know, it's been called the beach bike because of the big fat back tire. It's called the fat tire Yamaha. It's been called the ugliest dirt bike ever. These are the good things that people were saying about the bike, you know, in terms of looks. You guys might not believe this, but when Yamaha made this bike, this thing was actually categorized by Yamaha as agricultural machine. That's what this thing is, an ag machine. In the same categories as a tractor, in the same categories of a donkey, you've got the TW200. Now, if I know anything about ag machines, which I don't, but if I do, it's these 3 things. 1, ag machines have a specific purpose that they were designed for. 2, they must be incredibly reliable. And 3, they must be able to take decades. I'm not talking years, I'm not talking weeks or months, I'm talking decades of absolute abuse and keep on fulfilling the purpose that it was made for. And the TW200 absolutely knows how to take the abuse. Now, I'm not gonna give it to him. I'm not gonna abuse this bike because this is a 2019 with 39 miles on it. So I'm not gonna be the one to scratch it up and beat it up, although I'm just dying to. I would love to really abuse this bike the way it was made to. I'm gonna let someone else do that. So I'm in top gear and doing the speed limit. I feel comfortable. It feels safe. You roll on the throttle and you know, in a couple minutes, you go faster. I'm actually surprised. A lot of times you ride enduro bikes and they just feel a little goofy. We were actually riding a BMW that had really knobby, like these were like 100% dirt tires, and I didn't like the way it felt. This actually feels really good. You'd think that the big back tire would just make it feel different. It doesn't. It feels great. I'm actually very impressed with how it feels. And no guys, we are gonna do 0 to 60. It is questionable whether 60 is possible on this bike. Actually, I think the older ones had a top speed of 60, 65, and this one should have a top speed of 75, which is the speed limit. And we're gonna find that out. So there's a lot of negatives that you could say about this bike. You know, it's lacking in speed, and guys with Honda Rebel 250s would say that's a small bike compared to what they have. And in many ways, this bike is very limiting. But to be honest, it's not about what the bike can do. For the TW200, it's about where this bike can take you. And to be honest, this may be the most versatile motorcycle on the planet. This thing can take you anywhere.
where sport bikes can take you to meet your creator, where touring bikes and cruiser bikes can take you until the road ends. The TW200, the possibilities are endless. North Pole, South Pole, river. I mean, you just take it thing, and the beach, almost no bikes are really that good on the beach. That's why you get this giant, humongous, fat tire that's got tread almost the entire way around the tire. You could literally get this low on the motorcycle and still have good tread touching the bike. At this point, you have laid the bike over, you're rolling off, but the bike still has good tread touching the ground.
Now, I'm 6'2". I feel great. I think this is pretty comfortable. I feel really great, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, this bike's awesome. I'm being honest, that felt as comfortable, if not more comfortable, than riding this thing on the road. I love this bike. This thing is so much fun. You can't do that on other bikes. You shouldn't do that on other bikes. The places that this bike can take me, the trouble that I would find with this bike just blow my mind away. And it's the perfect season. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm 6'2". I feel great. I feel great on this bike. It just fits me like a, you know, like a small dirt bike. I don't feel cramped.
Now let's talk a little bit about the bike. 276 pounds. It's extremely light and an extremely simple 196cc air-cooled engine. I mean, it is as basic can get. Rear drum brakes, front single-sided disc, carbureted. You could fix this thing with a hammer. You don't even need the hammer to fix it, honestly.
And listen, I'm gonna admit, I will admit this, I made fun of people who rode bikes like this. I was so ignorant of what this bike was. And it was a time in my life where it was like, it's all about fast. Faster is better, faster is better. How fast is that bike? Oh, my bike's faster. You know what I mean? And that's all that mattered. I've grown past that. And I can just enjoy all different types of riding. That you can't not love this. You know, where the speed you're going, honestly, if you wreck, you're gonna be okay. But just the possibilities, you know, it's so cool to go to a new spot and see some dirt road and be like, well, what's down there? And then you go and find it. You take your buddies and you go, look at that. I want to go down that. What's going on? I could drive down there with this. Doing little jumps. You know, these bikes are indestructible. You can't beat them.
So I wanted to see if you bought one of these things brand new in 1987, how much it'd be worth right now if you went to sell it. And it was incredible. It really surprised me that most of the ones that I was seeing getting sold, 1987, 1988, were getting sold just under $2,000. When I looked at what MSRP was, it was $1,699. You could have bought one of these things 32 years ago, have been driving the snot out of these bikes, just destroying them, and still sell it for a few $100s more than what you actually paid for it. If that's not a good investment, I don't know what is. You get the fun and you get the value all in once.
Man, this thing's fun. All right, let's do 0 to 60. Let's see if this thing is as fast as we all hope it is. Honestly, this is like an apocalypse bike. As long as this thing can resist a EMP, which I'm sure it can. I mean, the gauges are like the little things that turn. Let's do this. Yeah! All right, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. 65. 70. 71. 72. 73. I could have done it. I could have got it. Now, even though me going as fast as I possibly could to get to the speed limit barely got me on the highway going the speed limit, it was still a blast. I gotta say that, you know, I'm cruising on the highway. This thing feels fairly stable. It's not something I would want to do for long periods of time, but I'm actually pretty comfortable. So if you got to do a couple exits, you know, 10, 20 miles on the highway, hey, it'll be all right. This will be fine. The problem is, what's enticing me is jumping off the highway and driving through that. Now, my shop is actually on the other side of that, but there's like a railroad and a fence, and I don't think I would make it. But I could try. Whoa! I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was a big piece of metal. It actually cruises pretty well at 65 miles an hour, which is the speed limit.
This is the type of motorcycle you could buy. It could be your first bike that you never replace. Now, definitely you'll get more bikes, and you know, more bikes will accompany this in your garage. Eventually, this might stop living in the garage and more the shed or more the barn, but you'll have fun riding it. Your kids will have fun riding it. Your grandkids will have fun riding it. It's just gonna keep on running. Yamaha's gonna keep on making parts for these things. There's a bajillion of them out there. It's a very popular bike, and you really just can't go wrong when it comes to something like this. And the amount of fun and versatility that you can get out of this bike, blow your mind away.
Now we priced this bike out to be a better deal than a new one. Now this was only purchased a couple months ago, so this is gonna have the same warranty, just minus a couple months. It's in perfect shape. And now what you're gonna see is you're gonna see their list price and you're gonna see our list price. Their list price has a lot of fees that aren't included. Freight, prep, you're probably looking at maybe $700 to $900 more than what they're saying. If you're out of town and you're buying our bike, that's all you pay it. That's the price. If you're in town, you gotta pay your taxes and registration and stuff like that, but there's no like freight prep, there's no goofy other stuff. So that's why our price might be, I don't know, a couple $100 less when you actually dial in the numbers. And I would expect that you would do this. You know, actually dial in the numbers and call the place, be like, listen, out the door, what's out the door price? And see what it is. You're gonna save a lot of money buying this from us. I'm about to shred this corner up here. Bam! This thing handles like a boss. And the thing is, you would feel just as comfortable okay, that was not a very fast corner, but you would feel just as comfortable doing that exact same thing on dirt. You would want to do it a different way, you know what I mean? You'd be more like, you know, kicking the back end sideways. Man, this would be a fun bike to have on like this is farm equipment. If you had a plot of land, the amount of fun you would have just shredding this bike up, kicking it sideways on the gravel, you know what I mean? I love it. I love this bike. You know what? Forget it. I'm keeping it. All right, guys, that wraps it up for the TW200. Great video. This video was brought to you by M1 Moto Gloves and also RiderShare. Check out RiderShare. RiderShare is a company based out of California, but they let you rent. You could rent people's bikes, and you could rent your bike out to people to either make money or rent an awesome bike. So check that out. Look up on your phone or on your computer, ridershare.com. It's like Turo, but for motorcycles. It's like Airbnb, but for motorcycles.
This motorcycle is for sale right now at Srkcycles.com. Check it out. And as always,
it is not what you're riding, but where are you going?